Okay, hi everyone. This is Kalyani, Department of Botany from TTWRDC, Khammam. Okay, today I would like to discuss about transpiration. So, here definition of transpiration and types of transpiration and also importance of transpiration to plants. So before going to discuss about this transpiration, we have to know about the evaporation. So this is the evaporation. So slight differentiation between transpiration and evaporation. So here from the ocean the water is vaporizing in the presence of sun. So that process is known as evaporation. So next this is transpiration. So transpiration here the water is moving. Okay, the excess of water vaporizing through the aerial parts, that is the transpiration. That means excess of water or loss of water through the aerial parts, that is called as a transpiration. So this is the slight differentiation between these two, transpiration and evaporation. So we have to know the differentiations between these two. For example, transpiration. So transpiration is a regulated process, so we can regulate that process also. And in the same way evaporation, it is a non-regulated process, we cannot regulate it. Again this transpiration is a comparatively slow process, so it is going on slow mode, so we can calculate the slow process also in a transpiration. So we can make some experiments also to prove the transpiration. Next, evaporation is a faster process, we cannot measure the evaporation, that is the faster process. In transpiration, that in the transpiration water vapors are formed in the internal tissues of the plants. Okay, in the transpiration the water vapors are formed in the internal tissues of the plants. Evaporation side water vapors are formed at the free surface of water, that we know. Evaporation means the liquid is changing as a gaseous phase, so that is the evaporation. Liquid phase is vaporizing, okay, like vapor, so that is the gas. Now again that gas is condensation place is taking, and again it is forming as a liquid, that is a rain. So we can imagine that water cycle when we explain about evaporation. So this is the slight differentiations between transpiration and evaporation. Okay, next that transpiration, we again let's come to the point of transpiration. So transpiration is making a main role on plants. Okay, so let's discuss types of transpirations now. This is the definition of transpiration. So what is the transpiration? So transpiration is the process of water movement through a plant, and its evaporation from aerial parts, especially from leaves. Okay, so this is the one biological process also, we can say, that is the transpiration. This through this process water is moving through a aerial parts. So here means excess of water, it is moving through aerial parts, especially from leaves. So here we can say that this transpiration process also one major use for the plants. Okay, so here we can see these diagrams. Here will be root system, water moves from soil, okay, so into roots. Okay, arrows will be here. So through this the water is moving, that means water molecules are moving, and it is transferred to leaf. So this is the internal structure of the leaf. So water living through the stomata. So main theme in transpiration, there are some special mechanism movements, so that is the stomata, either stomata, lenticels, etc. So through this the water is, that means water vapors are forming like a vapor, so that is the transpiration. Here water from xylem, so through this transpiration water movement through a plant, it's evaporation. Okay, it's evaporate from aerial parts, especially from the leaves, that we understand here. The water droplets, okay, it's like a water droplets. And again this transpiration mainly three types, this transpiration mainly three types. The water is vaporizing through the aerial parts, okay, that we know, that is the transpiration. This transpiration taking place by three methods. One is cuticular, and second is lenticular, and third one stomatal. So these are the three types. Before discuss these three types, and there are some factors that modes of transpiration, like temperature, light, humidity, wind, soil, water, etc. These are the factors that are affecting on the transpiration. So in the presence of this light only, that water molecules are moving very fastly. Okay, so they are the factors that I want to say before only. So these factors are needed to, we can rate the transpiration above on these factors. Okay, so here types of transpiration now. So cuticular transpiration, lenticular transpiration, and stomatal transpiration. So to occur this transpiration, there are some parts, like aerial parts already we told now, so like way cuticle and lenticels, we can say that stomata also. These are the special types that useful for the transpiration. So here the first type of transpiration is cuticular transpiration. So here we see that cuticle will be present. Okay, the layer above the epidermis is a cuticle. So through this cuticle water is losing. The loss of water through the cuticle is known as cuticular transpiration. So here what is happening, excess of water going through the cuticle. So where should be this cuticle? This cuticle will be present above the epidermis. Already we know that if you see any cross section of leaf, stem or root, we can observe three parts. Okay, one is epidermis, second is cortex, and third is vascular stele. Okay, so first one what I am telling, that epidermis, above the epidermis we can observe that cuticle. So the layer above the epidermis is a cuticle. It is the evaporation of water from the cuticle of the plant. So from this cuticle only water is liberating out. So the cuticle is a waxy covering on the surface of the leaves of the plants. Already we know that cuticle is a waxy in nature, so it is present above the epidermis, so it is covered, okay, by covered of the leaves of the plants. Above 5 to 10% of water from the leaves is lost to this cuticular transpiration. So how much water is losing through this method? Only 5 to 10% of water from the leaves is lost to the cuticular transpiration. Okay, so during dry conditions, when the stomata closed, more water is transpired through this cuticular transpiration. So that is, we can say that process is a guttation. That means what is happening, when the conditions are dry, the stomata will be closing. When the stomata close, more water is transpired through the cuticle. So we can say in a one word, that is cuticular transpiration. So the loss of water through the cuticle is known as cuticular transpiration. So this is the diagram, model diagram. Just you see, there are the parts, we can see water and everything we can see here. That means this is the example. So here will be water will present. Already we before only I told you that water will be present in a internal organs, that in cells also, no. So that water is transferring here, that is moving, losing. How much it will be? 5 to 10 percentage of water is lost by the cuticle. So it is known as a cuticular transpiration. So this is the first one. And second type of transpiration. So here lenticular transpiration, see the diagrams here, it will be lenticels here will be present. So lenticels, lenticular transpiration. Okay, here lenticels are minute opening in the bark of branches and twigs. So these are like pores. So these are the lenticels, we can say. These lenticels we can observe on the bark and twigs, okay, barks. Evaporation of water from the lenticels of the plants is known as lenticular transpiration. So loss of water in the form of water vapor taking a place through the lenticels present in woody stem and fruits also. So where should be lenticels? Lenticel will be present on bark and twigs and either woody stem or fruits also. So from these lenticels the loss of water in the form of water vapor. So through these lenticels the water is vaporizing. So loss of water is taking from this lenticel. So this process is known as lenticular transpiration. For example, these are the pictures, fruits, bark, etc. So you can see the lenticels. So here will be lenticels, and lenticels are minute opening, okay, in the bark of branches. Lenticels are not present in all the plants. Lenticels are not present in the all the plants. Only some of the plants only we can observe that lenticels. And a minimal amount of water is lost. A minimal amount of water is lost to the lenticels. So this is the second type of transpiration. So through this method also water is losing only how much, a minimal amount of water only losing through this method or through this type. That is the second one, lenticular transpiration. So this lenticular transpiration we can see only minimal amount of water only lost through this. And next, third one. So see these lenticels are minute pore like structures now here opening. So this is the bark, okay. So it is a fruit and this is the small opening, just example to understand you. This is the third one, types of transpiration. So the third type of transpiration is stomatal transpiration. It is very most important in a mechanism of stomatal movement. So this is the third one. So here the transpiration takes place through the stomata. So that's what we are calling this method. This type is a stomatal transpiration. So stomata are minute pore confined to epidermis of green shoot and leaves. For example, the transpiration occurs through the stomata. So about 90% of water lost to this transpiration, stomatal transpiration. How much? Above 90% of water lost through this stomatal transpiration. The water near the surface of leaves, the water near surface of the leaves changes into vapor and evaporates when the stomata are open. Understand? The what? For example, this is the leaf we are seeing now. So the water near the surface of the leaves changes into vapor and evaporates when the stomata are open. When the stomata are open. So what is happening? Already we know that function of the stomata. So it will use for the gases exchange. No, likewise here the when water near the surface of the leaves changes into vapor and evaporates when the that structure stomata are open. When the stomata will be opening, it is vaporizing. So this is the stomata. So here water is losing 90, above 90% of water is lost in through this stomatal transpiration. This is the third type of transpiration. So mainly these three are very important in the transpiration. So these are the types. Next, mostly we have to know about the structure of stomata, so that we can understand how the stomatal movement is taking place. That is the mechanism, how it is occurring, how the ions are moving from one area to another area, what is osmotic potential, how the pressure is increasing in a guard cells and subsidiary cells. Everything we have to know now. So we will go through the here definition of stomata. So structure of stomata, process of opening and closing of stomata, and next mechanism of stomata is mainly important. Next, what are the factors affecting stomata movement? So this we have to know. So here structure of stomata. So this is a complex, no? So here this side we can see that stoma open, so that is a pore like structure. Here stoma closed, here it closed, no? So this is the, for example, if you see this one, this is the structure of a stomata. So leaves contain large number of microscopic pores. So that microscopic pores are called stomata. So it is green in color because it containing a green color pigment, they are the chlorophylls. Okay, so once again, leaves contain large number of microscopic pores called stomata. So here we can see on the epidermal surface, where it will be present on the leaf epidermal surface. This stomata we can see these are like large number, okay, and microsporic pore like structure. If you check the leaf, we can see that small hole, like if you put that leaf in a water, we can see that small pore like structures. If you observe it under the microscope, we can see that clear structure, green structure pores called stomata. So the stomata consist of minute pores called, that is the stoma. So middle one, you are seeing stoma open already here written, no? That is the part. So here the stomata consist of minute pore like structure. Here will be one pore, that is the stoma. So the stoma surrounded by guard cells. So here this is the pore, and here will be guard cells, and inside of these guard cells nucleus, chloroplast. So we can see. Okay, next, these guard cells are surrounded by a subsidiary cells. These guard cells are surrounded by a subsidiary cells also. So these subsidiary cells are useful in, so it looks like a epidermal cells. Okay, it looks like a epidermal cells. So now we are discussing this stomata structure only. So we have to know the parts about stomata. So stomata containing one pore like structure, that is the stoma. And this stoma, how this stoma is forming, this is forming of guard cells, and these guard cells are being in shape in a dicots, okay, dumbbell in shape in monocots. Here that guard cells containing chloroplast and nucleus, and that stoma walls also thick inner, it containing thick inner wall, thin outer wall also. So here these are the guard cells, and next subsidiary cells. The stomata will be present on the epidermal surface. It will be present on the epidermal surfaces. And stomata, next structure, stomata open and close according to the turgidity of guard cells. So it is depends upon the guard cells only. When the guard cells will be turgidity, so it's depending on the how that stomata closing and opening system is depends on the turgidity of the guard cells. The cell wall surrounding the pore is tough and flexible. Already it is inner wall thick, no? So that cell wall surrounding of the pore stoma, that stoma Cell wall is tough and flexible. The shape of guard cells usually differs in both monocots and dicots. Just now I told you the shape of the guard cells are differ from both monocots and dicots. In dicots it will be bean shaped or kidney shaped. It containing a chloroplast. Okay, and that chloroplast filled with a chlorophyll. So we can say that the dicot guard cells are bean in shape. It containing chlorophyll pigment. Okay, chloroplast also. And guard cells are bean shaped containing chloroplast and chlorophyll, and these guard cells are surrounded by a subsidiary cells. And what this chloroplast will do, it captures, it containing chlorophyll and it captures light energy, okay, to form a photosynthetic activity. Understand, guard cells are bean shaped, it containing chloroplast with a chlorophyll, so it taps on light energy to form a photosynthetic activity to make a food material. So that is the another process. And here guard cells are surrounded by a subsidiary cells, and here what is happening, stomatal complex, what we are seeing, that is a stomatal complex. Why we are saying that is the stomatal complex? Why should here the stoma is there and that guard cells are there, and these guard cells are surrounded by a subsidiary cells. To completely here should be guard cells and subsidiary cells are forming as a like complex. So that is the stomatal complex. Here it looks like a one complex like flower, that is the stomatal complex. How it forming? Because the guard cells and subsidiary cells together forms as a stomatal complex. The average number of stomata is about 300 per square millimeters of the leaf surface. And just now I told you, for example, one more diagram, it is a stomata here open and closed. No? So we will explain mechanism afterwards. So here see epidermal cells. Here I told you in monocot stomata and dicot stomata. For example, this is the dicotyledon stomata, bean in shape. Here this is the monocotyledon stomata. Here we can see it is a dumbbell in shape now. So just diagram that you have to know like this. Here it is a dumbbell in shape and it will be bean in shape. That is the differentiation. Next, in xerophyte, sunken stomata present. What stomata? In the xerophytic plants, that sunken stomata will be present. Generally, stomata are open in day. Already we know that. Okay, generally stomata will be opening in a daytime and closing in night time. But in succulent plants, stomata open in night and close daytime. So why they are closing night time and why they are opening it like that is the differentiation. No, in xerophyte stomata is opening in daytime and closing in night time. But in the succulent plants it is quite opposite to xerophytes. What is happening? Stomata opens in a night time and closing in a daytime. So that is the activity. When the stomata will be opening in daytime, that is the photoactive mechanism we say. And when the stomata will be opening in night time, that is a stereoactive mechanism. One is photo, that is the presence of light. So that is called as a photoactive mechanism. In photoactive mechanism, that stomata will be opening in a daytime. Okay. In stereoactive mechanism, what is happening? The stomata will be opening in night time. So that is the small differentiation between this stereo and photoactive mechanisms. Now let's discuss about functions. So just now we discussed about stomata, what is the stoma, what stomata will be containing, next what are the parts containing in a stomata, and what are the complex system we discussed. What is a complex system, how it will be forming, like everything we noticed. But now we have to know the functions of stomata. When we know the functions of stomata, then only we can understand that mechanism of stomata, stomatal movement. So here this is the for example stomata. So here it is using that stomata will be useful for the gases exchange. Stomatal opening and closer help in the gases exchange between plants and surroundings. Okay, it is exchanging, taking CO2 and giving oxygen. So that is the process, gases exchange. Mainly in plants, that stomata makes a role to the gases exchange. That also between plant and to surroundings. And it is helps in the transpiration. So the loss of water, excess of water, it is vaporizing through the stomata. Already we discussed about 90% of water loss through the stomata only. So that is the transpiration. It is useful for the gases exchange. Stomata is useful for the gases exchange. At the same time, it is useful for the transpiration also, because plant cannot take whole water. How much? For example, 100% of water plant will not take. Only little amount of water only useful for the mechanism of a plant. Remaining water will evaporate. That is the transpiration. So next, stomatal closure at night prevents water from escaping off through the pores. Understand? So this stomata closure at night, it prevents the water from the escaping through the pores. So how it will prevent water cannot from the escaping through the pores. It maintain the moisture balance according to weather by opening and closing. So it will balance whether the water will be there, whether the moisture will be there, will not be there. So according to that, it will closing and opening. So it maintain the moisture balance according to the weather. So based on the weather, what is happening, based on this weather, that stomata is maintaining whether it will be closing or opening, it will see that. Next, stomata, this stomata facilitate CO2 uptake and release O2 during the process of photosynthesis. So it is making that. So it is taking CO2 and releasing O2. That is also in the process of photosynthesis. Already we say that this chloroplast containing chlorophyll pigment, this chlorophyll pigment, next sunlight and water, everything, there are the 4 factors affecting on the photosynthesis. So these factors in forming as a food material. So during the photosynthesis process, this stomata is using, that also it is taking CO2 and giving out oxygen. So that is the process. These are the functions of stomata. So these are the main. First thing, gases exchange. Second one, it is useful for in the transpiration. And it will, third one, it is useful for the balancing the moisture according to the weather. And it is useful for the photosynthesis, that also to say take the carbon dioxide and send the oxygen. And it is also prevent that closing of escaping the stomatal closure at night prevents water from the escaping through the pores. Water won't go through the pores. It prevents when the stomata will be closed at night. That also one type of technique only. So this is about the function of the stomata. Now let's discuss about theories. So what the theories? So before going to discuss these theories, we have to just now we discussed what we discussed: stomata functions, structure of the stomata, stomatal complex, etc. So how the mechanism stomatal movement is taking place, so that is the mechanism. So here the mechanism, what is the mechanism? Stomata is opening, stomata will be opening in daytime, closing at night time in some plants. In some more plants, what is happening, stomata is closing at daytime and opening in night time. That is the mechanism. So how this stomata is closing and opening, what are the changes taking place, what are the system is affecting, what are the factors will be, what are the ions will be, how much of water is taking, how much of water is liberating out. So this is the mechanism how the stomata is mainly, how the stomata is opening and closing and opening. So that is the movement or mechanism. So to explain these mechanisms, there are many theories like starch sugar hypothesis, and pH regulates stomatal movements, and role of potassium ions and proton also. So these are the theories. So according to these theories, what they are telling, for example, we know that when the sunlight will be, stomata is opening. So everything that we can understand that mainly it is seeing also. So what is happening when the light will be present, the stomata is opening. So when the light will not be there, the stomata is closing. So that we can say. So the movement of stomata depends on the increase and decrease of osmotic potential. So in what is the osmotic potential? In osmotic potential, what is happening? The molecules are moving from higher concentration to low concentration. So many experiments also we did regarding that osmotic potential. So the movement of stomata, so there should be movement in the stomata. So in this stomata, how the movement is depending, so stomatal, this movement of stomata depends on increase or decrease of osmotic potential. So the opening and closing of stomata depends on the turgor pressure caused by the osmotic flow of water in God cells. So when the water is flowing in a God cells, that also from the subsidiary cells to God cells, already we saw that root is absorbing water from root system to it is transferring to the shoot system. So from the shoot system also there are leaves containing chloroplast containing chlorophyll, and that leaf also we can see that stomata. So from these epidermal cells to subsidiary cells also looks like epidermal cells. Already we said that subsidiary cells are present in a epidermal surface. Okay, so that from subsidiary cells to God cells the water is transferring. So here the opening and closing of stomata depends on the turgor pressure caused by God cells. So the God cells by osmotic flow of water in the God cells. When the God cells, for example, this is the stomata closed and open now, cell wall, here God cells and containing vacuole and chloroplast, nucleus, etc. So when the God cells are turgid, they expand, resulting in the opening of stomata. So when it will be here. So when the God cells are turgid, they expand. So how we can say that resulting it is a opening of stomata. And next, when the God cells lose water, it become flaccid. So it is leading to close the stomata. So this is the slight differentiation. It is opening because when the God cells are with the turgid in nature, so it is resulting to opening the stomata. And here when the God cells are lost water, here it is containing sufficient of water, it is opening, we can say. Here it is losing of water. So when the God cells are losing the water, it becomes as a flaccid, so leading to the close of stomata. Stomata normally open when the sunlight will be. Okay, so how it is opening? When the light strikes the leaf and close during the night. So here what is happening, when the light strike the leaf, so close during the night. If for example, if light is there daytime, it will be open, but light won't be there, it will close at night time. Next, it is depends upon the presence of sugar and starch present in the God cells. So we are discussing about these mechanisms only now. We still did not go to the theories. Just this we have to know. So how the mechanism is taking place. So it is depends on the presence of sugars It is present on the sugar and starch present in the God cells. For example, these are the God cells. It containing sugar or starch. Okay. So it is mechanism is depending on these sugar substances. In the presence of light, the God cells of stomata contain sugar, which is synthesized by the chloroplast. How it synthesized these sugars? It is synthesized by the chloroplast. In the presence of light, when the light will be, the God cells. So here the God cells stomata contains sugars and which is synthesized by their chloroplast. Okay, the sugar is soluble in water. The sugar is soluble in water and increase the concentration of God cells. When the sugar is dissolved in the water, the God cells concentration will be increasing. So due to higher concentration of cytoplasm, the God cells, the water enters into the cells from the nearby cells by osmosis. Hence the stomata remaining opens. Understand? So here, due to higher concentration, how concentration is higher? Here already sugars are there. These sugar molecules are dissolving in a water. So when the sugar is dissolved with water, it is concentrate. So when the concentration will be increased in the God cells, okay, so concentration means that sugar and water present in the cytoplasm only, no. Due to higher concentration of cytoplasm of God cells, the water enters into the cells from the nearby. What are the nearby cells? Subsidiary cells. From the subsidiary cells to God cells, water is entering because already in that cytoplasm, God cell cytoplasmic concentration is high. So so that these subsidiary cells to God cells, the water is transferring by the process of osmosis. Hence, the stomata remains open. So that is the opening. Next, in the absence of light, when it is in the absence of light, the sugar present in God cells converts into starch. Already in before this, how the stomata opened? When the light will be, the sugars are dissolved with the water, so that it opened. But here in the absence of light, the sugar is present in the God cell converts as a starch. The starch is insoluble. It won't dissolve in the water. So it is a insoluble. God cells remains in low concentration than the neighboring cells. Then when the starch is forming, when the sugar is forming as a starch in the God cells, that concentration will be very less. Why? Because it won't dissolve in the water. So that nearby cells from like subsidiary cells, from subsidiary cells, the water is transferring. How it is take out the water from the God cells by osmosis, making them flaccid and the stomata closed. Understand? Here the stomata is opening the presence of light. Why? Because in God cells of the sugar is dissolved in water, and so how there it is increasing. When the water is dissolving with the sugar, the concentration is high, so that from the subsidiary cells that water is entering to the God cells, so stomata is opening. Here in the absence of light, the sugar present in the God cells converts into starch. So this starch is insoluble, that means it won't dissolve in the water. God cells remains in low concentration, so that then the neighboring cells and the neighboring cells take out the water, take out the water from the God cells by osmosis only. So in both also we can see observe that osmosis, so it is making as a flaccid, so that stomata is closing. So this is the mechanism. Okay, now we see that theories. Here first one, starch sugar hypothesis. So starch and sugar hypothesis, what is happening in the starch and sugar hypothesis? So here this starch and sugar hypothesis is proposed by Lloyd. So in the daytime chloroplast present in the God cells perform photosynthesis and form a sugars. Okay, so what is happening in the daytime, that stomata is taking light. Okay, so that it is what is happening, so that it is taking sunlight, tapering sunlight, and making a photosynthesis, forming as a sugar. The sugars dissolves in water and osmotic potential becomes more negative. So the water from subsidiary cells enters to the guard cells and there is an increase in the pressure potential. As a result, stomata open. Just now we discussed about mechanism, same process Lloyd also explained what he explained. Here photosynthesis is taking place, the sugars are dissolved in the water. Here the sugars are dissolved in the water, and when the sugars are dissolving in the water, osmotic potential is very more negative. So here pressure potential also increase, so that stomata is opening. So same mechanism. Next, so that is the we can say that turgid state. Okay, that stomatal opening stage is known as a turgid state. In the night, sugar in the guard cells are converted into starch. So starch does not dissolve in the water, and osmotic potential becomes also less negative. The water from guard cells enter to subsidiary cells and guard cells contract and stomata are closed. This is known as a flaccid state. Here what is happening in the presence of light? So concentration, when the sugars are dissolving in water, concentration is high and osmotic potential also more negative and pressure potential also increasing, stomata is opening. So here osmotic potential very less negative. Next, osmotic potential also less, so that what is happening here, flaccid state we can see, guard cells will contract, okay, from water guard cells to water transferring to subsidiary cells, so that stomata is closing. So this is the starch and sugar hypothesis. And next we can see that potassium ion transport also. So potassium ion transport also we can see what is happening in the potassium ion transport. So in this potassium ion transport, so stomata open when guard cells contains more potassium ions. Concentration was proved by, so it is proved by this potassium ion concentration transport also proved by Imura and Fusinum. So they proved this one. When this potassium and calcium ions are grouped in guard cells, stomata open. Okay, when this potassium chloride, not calcium, sorry. So when the potassium and chloride ions are grouped in a guard cell, so this is the guard cell. When these ions are grouped in a guard cell, stomata will be opening. In the presence of light, potassium ion enters from subsidiary cells to guard cells. Okay, already water is in the presence of light, that water is transferring from subsidiary cells to guard cells, already we told no before. So same way here also what is happening, potassium ions here in the presence of light, when the light will be, potassium ions enters from subsidiary cells to guard cells. Okay, potassium ions when entering from subsidiary cells to guard cells, here entering, no, so like way. And these potassium ions convert starch to sugars in the guard cells. When the potassium ions are coming from the subsidiary cells to guard cells, it is converting starch to sugar in guard cells. Okay, as a result, pH value increases and malic acid concentration also increases. Okay, when chloride ions from subsidiary cells enters into the guard cells, malic acid splits into hydrogen ions and malate ions. Understand? When the potassium ions are entering into the guard cells, it is changing, like convert starch to sugar. Okay, as a result what is happening, pH is increasing and malic acid concentration also increased. And likewise, when the chloride ions are entering from the subsidiary cells to guard cells, the malic acid splits into hydrogen and malate ions. Potassium ion diffuses into guard cells. Okay, potassium ions are diffusing in a guard cells. and potassium chloride malate ions are grouped in the guard cells, and a result of osmotic potential in the guard cells becomes more negative when the chloride, when the potassium and when malate ions will be there in the guard cells, then the potential, osmotic potential is more negative, become more negative. So then water enters from the subsidiary cells. So when the osmotic potential will be more negative, the water is entering from the subsidiary cells to guard cells. As a result, guard cells contract and stomata are open. So this is next, potassium and chloride ions enter subsidiary cells to guard cells, or potassium calcium ion enter subsidiary from guard cells. Starch in guard cells does not dissolve in water and osmotic potential become less negative. Already we discussed now in the starch and sugar hypothesis. Same way, when potassium and chloride ions are entering from the guard cell to subsidiary cells, the guard cell does not, in the guard cells that starch will be there, that starch does not dissolve in water, so osmotic potential become less negative, so that osmotic potential of subsidiary cells become more negative. As a result, water enters from the subsidiary cells to the guard cells, so that there is a diffusion process is taking place. As a result, water enters subsidiary cells from guard cells, okay, through the diffusion. Then guard cells contract, stomata are closed. So that is the next mechanism we can say. So this is the mechanism of potassium ions absorption. Next we can say photosynthesis in guard cells. So here that is not there, I think so, but we have to say that photosynthesis in guard cell. So here the opening and closing of stomata are due to photosynthetic activity of guard cells. Already we, how it is opening and closing, when the photosynthesis will be, then only we can understand that mechanism is taking place. So that opening and closing of stomata are due to photosynthetic activity of guard cells, due to photosynthetic activity of guard cells. In the presence of light, so in the presence of light, the chloroplast in the guard cells perform photosynthesis and sugars are formed. When the light will be, photosynthesis is taking place, then only sugars are forming. These sugar molecules reach the vacuole and concentration of cells increases and the osmotic potential becomes more negative. So when the sugar molecules are reaching the vacuole, so here will be vacuole, no? When the sugar molecules reach the vacuole, the concentration of cell sap increases. At the same time, osmotic potential also becomes more negative. So then water from subsidiary cells reach guard cells through the diffusion. As a result, the guard cells expand and stomata open. And same thing, that water is from subsidiary cells to guard cells reaching, so that also to the diffusion process. As a result, that stomata opening, because that guard cells are expanding, so stomata is opening. Next, in the absence of light, so when in the absence of light, they change to starch, so that starch is changing as a sugar is changing as a starch. So the water from guard cells diffuses in the subsidiary cells, again opposite process. So guard cells contract and stomata will be closing. In the presence of light, the concentration of CO2 increases and stomata are open. Understand, in the presence of light only, the concentration of CO2 is increasing, at the same time stomata will be opening. But when CO2 concentration, when the CO2 concentration is low, is 1% and more, stomata are closed. Okay, here concentration will be high, the stomata will be opening. If the less concentration of CO2 to it concentration of 1% or more, the stomata will be closing. Okay, so the chloroplast of guard cells, the chloroplast of guard cells does not participate in photosynthesis or partially participate in the partially. So this does not influence stomatal movement. Understand, if the photosynthesis is going on, that we can say that stomatal movement is taking place. Without the photosynthesis we cannot say that there is no movement or there is no mechanism in the stomatal closing or opening, either whatever it may be, it won't be there without photosynthesis. So that is the, because of these reasons what we are saying, photosynthesis in god cells, that is the one theory. So in this theory, just now we said that if the concentration of CO2 increases, stomata is opening, but when concentration is 1% or more, stomata will be closing. The same way, the chloroplast of god cells does not participate in photosynthesis or participate in partially. So this, it does not influence the stomatal movement. So because of this reason, this photosynthesis in god cell theory was rejected. So it rejected. Next theory. Next theory, Sayers theory. According to Sayers, the stomatal movement are based on pH values. So the movement is depending on the pH. So the experiments on Rumex plants proved that stomata are open at a neutral or acidic medium. So here will be one more. What Sayers theory is saying, it is depending, that stomatal movement is depending on the pH value. Okay, when the pH is 7 or more, stomata will be opening. When the pH is less, 7 or less, the stomata will be closing. That's what he told, that Sayers theory saying that according to Sayers theory, pH value, that stomatal movement is based on the pH values. Okay, next, this is the last theory, and that is Stewart theory. So according to theory, in the presence of photophosphorylase, so in the presence of photophosphorylase, in the presence of photophosphorylase enzyme, starch is converted into glucose 1-phosphate. Here starch is there. So in the presence of phosphorylase enzyme, so in the presence of phosphorylase enzyme, this starch is converted as a glucose 1-phosphate. Then due to action of phosphatase enzyme, it is converted to glucose and phosphate. Okay, actually starch is in the presence of phosphorylase enzyme converted as a glucose 1-phosphate. Again this glucose 1-phosphate is converted as a glucose and it divided as a glucose and phosphate. So due to the dissolution of glucose in cell self, the osmotic potential becomes more negative and stomata are open. So it is here will be concentration of so this one increased. Okay, next it is happening. Here starch is in the presence of phosphorylase enzyme converted as a glucose 1-phosphate, and here again glucose 1-phosphate is in the presence of phosphatase changing as a glucose and phosphate. In the night, in the presence of hexokinase, in the presence of hexokinase enzyme, glucose 1-phosphate is formed utilizing ATP. And how it is forming? For example, already we saw this is the starch is converting as a glucose 1-phosphate, again glucose 1-phosphate 2 in the presence of isomerase, glucose 6-phosphate is forming, again phosphatase. This glucose 6-phosphate is changing as a glucose and inorganic phosphate. This glucose and phosphate is changing as a glucose 1-phosphate, then from glucose 1-phosphate to starch is forming. So this is the Stewart theory. So Stewart said like this. So when the daytime, what is happening? Starch is converted as a glucose phosphate and glucose phosphate to glucose plus inorganic phosphate is forming. That also in the presence of a phosphorylase enzymes like. Next, in night time, what is happening? This glucose plus phosphate in the presence of hexokinase enzyme, that also utilizing ATP and forming as a glucose 1-phosphate. Again this glucose 1-phosphate is formed as a starch in the presence of phosphorylase enzyme. So this is the theory. So that when in daytime, see that diagram, here stomata is opening, here stomata is closing. So according to Stewart theory, Stomata is opening in daytime and stomata is closing in night time. So these are the theories. So this is the during daytime what is happening, okay, whether it is soluble or insoluble, and night time what is happening, how it is occurring, like way we can understand. Till now we discussed that transpiration, what are the transpiration, how the transpiration is taking place, what are the types in a transpiration, and what is the stomata, stomatal structure, what are the movement in a stomata, what are the theories present in a stomata, okay. Okay, what are the theories proved that stomata, like. So now environmental factors that affect of rate of transpiration, just I want to share now. So what are the factors are affecting on transpiration? For example, light, okay, temperature, humidity, wind, etc. Okay, these are the factors affect rate of transpiration, so that we can calculate the rate of transpiration. So light, so here light also speed up of by warming the leaf. So light also one type of factor only. Next, temperature, plants transpirate more rapidly at high, okay. Next, temperature also, when the temperature will be high, the transpiration also increase. So same, when the light will be more, so that transpiration also will be increasing. Next, humidity, when the surrounding air is dry, diffusion of water out of the leaf goes on more rapidly. So humidity will be when the surroundings are dry, when the dry conditions will be outside, then only diffusion through the diffusion process water is losing through the leaves, that is the humidity. Next, wind, when there is no breeze, the air surrounding a leaf becomes increasingly humid, thus reducing the transpiration. So through the wind the transpiration will be reducing. So there are many factors like soil, etc. So here one more thing, that importance of transpiration. So what are the importance? So why we are studying this transpiration? What are the uses of transpiration? So here transpiration is not a simply a hazard of plant, okay. Transpiration is a not a simple technique, it is a engine to the plant, okay, that pulls water up from the roots to aerial parts, okay, understand. So here we have to remember that transpiration is a not a simple hazard of plant, it is a like engine. So why we are saying that it is a engine? Because it is uh, pulling water from root system to the aerial parts. There are long trees will be, so like that it is taking pulling water, so we are saying that is a engine. Next, so this transpiration also, through this transpiration also we can say that photosynthesis is taking place, that metabolic activities like biosynthesis also taking place, like that we can say. So this is the importance of transpiration. Next, again I want to give a conclusion that transpiration in plants is a crucial process. In the absence of transpiration, excess water will be accumulated in the plants, okay. So transpiration is a very crucial stage in the plant. So without transpiration, what will be, if the transpiration will be absence, excess water will be get accumulated of the plant cells, and the cells will eventually burst. More than 10% of the earth's moisture is from transpiration. It is known to be a part of the water cycle. So that's what we discussed, evaporation process in the water cycle previous. So this is the transpiration, okay. Anyway, thank you so much for giving this good opportunity to me. Thank you one and all.